Hey everybody, hello. This is Knight coming to you from the recording studio here outside in Murfreesboro, and I got a very special uh well, I mean, is there ever not a special underground gospel show? Um I don't think there is. I think they're all pretty special. Yeah, because I'm doing it and I'm stuck on myself, I think. But this one's about my church, and I don't talk about it too much. I was at a church in Nashville, and we had some drama with the pastor. And in fact, come to think of it, I had some drama with the pastor, a couple churches out in California. And I had some drama with the church out here because of things going on outside of my life. As some of you know, I'm a musician and an actor. And so I was going out to LA a lot of times to work in the acting world. And I started going to a church. I asked God, where do you want me to go? He said, well, why don't you go to Hillsong? And I'm like, isn't Hillsong in Australia? Come to find out, I Googled it. This was about 5 years ago, and there was 6 years ago. And I found out there was a Hillsong in downtown Los Angeles. So I started going to that church, you know, and I always remember I loved the first time I walked in. And because I didn't know, I mean, I'd never been there before. And I walked in, this, older woman says, "Hi, how are you?" And I'm done. I'm great. And she said, "Welcome home." I'm like, "Thank you." She goes, "How many services are you going to go to today?" And I'm like, one. She goes, "Oh, are you new?" And I said, "Yeah, it's my first time here." She goes, "Okay, well, enjoy." And I thought that was so weird until I went, and then I was like, "Well, I don't want to leave." So I started going to two services, and then three, and then four, and then it just got too late, so I'd go to three, and I'd never do that. The last one was always, much younger than me and much more energetic, and I guess I should have gone. It would have made me more tired, and I could have slept better. I don't know. I went to three of the four services, though. Usually serving at. I mean, it wasn't long before I was serving at two of them. Anyway, I got to meet a lot of the staff and a lot of the leadership at that church. And oh, you know what? I'm going straight into the subject. I didn't even do the housekeeping. So let me do the housekeeping first. Got to do this. Welcome to the Underground Gospel Show. Hi, guys. Welcome. This is a safe place to hang out. No swearing, no trolling. Hopefully, I will not be swearing. I'm pretty sure I won't be. And if you like what you hear, remember to subscribe. We're on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch still every Friday, Saturday night at 8 o'clock. And if you want to see this show 4 to 6 weeks earlier, go to our Patreon page. You can get it through our website. You know what I can do? Hold it. Let me go back over here to the stream service and go back up here to the banners and put up. You see that? That is where we're streaming to. Okay. So, anyway, if you go to a night-music.com, you can actually sign up on our Patreon page. That's $2.99 a month, I think. You can pay more if you want to help sponsor music videos. I think I got 140 videos up right now. More coming, a lot more coming because they worship God and He deserves all the worship. Anyway, you can go to Night Music for showtimes, links, garments. You can find the lyrics to these music. You can contact emails. Contact email is there. The live show information when we're doing live shows again, and how to support me monthly for a cup of coffee, maybe more if you want to be that giving. And we love givers. Um, I don't sing so that God can speak directly to your heart. And there's sponsorship opportunities if you want to sponsor me. I don't, if you want me to sell your wares, I know people do that. Hey, these blue blocker sunglasses. I don't have blue blocker sunglasses anywhere. So anyway, I might want to. I don't know. I've never tried them. Would you like me to come to play at your city or your concert and your event? I am available. I can be available. You can contact me through the website. And this is an evergreen show. So this is going to be around for a long, long time. and I don't take them off the web. They do come off of Twitch after I think 48 hours, and off of Facebook after 2 weeks. They stay on YouTube forever because my goal is to become a YouTuber. I want to have thousands of followers and people watching hundreds of hours a week. I'm going to have to get it better, but here's the thing. I am so much better myself after doing this over and over and over again. There's a thing called mastery that happens when you repeat something over again, thousands of times. I think I'm in the hundreds. I think this show 101 or 103. So I have, I'm maybe 10% towards where I'm going to begin to feel comfortable doing this. So there will be a lot of the content on YouTube where we're going on. So that's the housekeeping events. I think I got all of them done. Let's go back here to a little StreamYard thing, see how I'm looking. Today's message has been brought by Mark 15, 2 and 3. And Mark 15, 3, more importantly, because Mark, what it says here in Mark, this is when Jesus was being tried and he was before Pontius Pilate. And Pilate asked him, "Are you the king of the Jews?" And he replied, "If you say so." And the high priest went off, just accusing him and sending all these barrage of accusations. And that's verse 3, as the high priest then threw out a barrage of accusations against Jesus. Well, the reason why that was a centerpiece, like the creamy center of an Oreo, to what I'm talking to, I started off about my church. Hillsong right now is going through a little bit of controversy because the lead pastor, Brian Houston, who I've met a number of times, I met him the first time. Gosh, I think it was 1990 something. It was his first or second tour through the United States, with his group. That was a worship band that was led by Darlene Check at the time, and they came through North or Southern California, and the church that I went to, I don't know how it ended up that I got volunteered to work at the church he was being at. So, but I got to work with crew, great guys, all had funny accents, really cute. Girls were, nice, and I was divorced at the time, and so yeah, it was an interesting, very very fun church. Anyway, he seemed like a great guy. Loved his message, loved his empowerment. I mean, he wasn't at the time, there was a lot of churches that were doing this prosperity gospel. If you love God, he will reward you with prosperity and goodness and greatness and all this wonderful fun stuff. You'll get diamonds and jet skis. And he wasn't that, but he was love. It's God loves you and he'll do anything for you. And sometimes he says no because it's for your best interest. But a lot of times he does want to do things for you. He does want to love you. He does want to give you good stuff. Um, and I fully believe that. I mean, I don't think of a prosperity Bible. I think God loves rich and poor combined. And I've said this in past episodes. But a lot of times there are groups of people who believe in cursing, and by cursing they tend to surround themselves with curses, and there are people who bless and they surround themselves with blessings. Doesn't mean bad things doesn't happen to them, doesn't mean good things don't happen to people who curse. Okay. But the fact of the matter is, I think that the overall weight is, if you plant blessings, you'll receive crops of blessings. If you plant curses, you'll receive crops of curse or curses. That's kind of what I believe. So and he was very much about the blessings of God. And I was, and the thing is, I can't remember who it was, I think Greek or Roman philosopher, who said that we don't need to be taught as much as we need to be reminded. And that's the truth, is that you know, my brain, especially my brain, can only hold so much stuff, and then stuff falls out. And so, I need to be reminded again, not that I'm taught something new, but just, oh yeah, that's true. I guess I didn't get enough sleep last night. Oh, I'm going to talk about that for just a second too. Anyway, for that, I'm going to no. That is part of my message I was going to give you on Pastor Brian, because Pastor Brian admitted a couple years ago that there was a controversy going on in his family, and that is that his father, who has passed away, had been a pastor at a church in New Zealand. Um, and he did some really wrong things with some boys in a youth group. Kept it hidden. It came out. He was punished. He was, lost his church, lost his all prestige in his family. I mean, you just don't do that. I mean, it's I was, I went to a Catholic church for a long time with, Catholic boys' school, and I was like, I'm not even gay pretty because nobody hit on me, even the priest, and they never did. I mean, I never had anything like that happen. So I know that people have. I know they have because um, my one of my fetishes in my life is that I like to be seduced. So that way I didn't realize it back then when I decided to create this fetish, but it seems to have kept me safe because there's no woman out there who's going to claim that I did anything inappropriate to her because she would have had to, start it. Anyway, needless to say, I'm very much in the confident in the situation that I've been outstanding. Because I love to be seduced. I don't like to take the, you know, take the front road or be the instigator. Anyway, so Pastor Brian admitted a number of years ago that his father had done this and his father had lost everything. He had lost absolutely everything. And so I believe the father moved from New Zealand to Australia, where Pastor Brian was, and he started a church called the Hills. And so I think he took care of his dad for a while, to tell you the truth. Um, Needless to say, the big or last year sometime they started doing proceedings against Pastor Brian. They said that he had withheld information. Now, I got remember, this is year 2021. The things against his dad happened in the 1960s and 1970s, as I understand it. It was a while ago, about 50 years. But they came up and said, well, Pastor Brian, he should have, come forward with information. And Pastor Ryan's like, I don't know any information. And what he said, quote unquote, and I'm not going to quote anything about the law. I know nothing about this case except for what I hear in the news, same as everybody else, and knowing the character of the people involved. Pastor Brian said, I'm going to fight this. Come on, bring it. Like anybody else in the church will when you're right. I am a champion. I have God. But if God's for me, who can be against me? When you have those reminders constantly, it's hard not to take the challenge. Yeah, you're going to come after me. Well, they decided to. They're going to come after him because they said he was holding information. Well, for one thing, and I don't know the laws in New Zealand and Australia, but I do know that this happened in New Zealand, and for some reason they're coming after him in Australia. I don't think they're the same country. They're not the same country. I don't know the laws of either one of those countries. I'm sure they have extradition, but the thing is, for some reason, they're coming after Pastor Brian in Australia for something that his father did 50 years earlier in another country. And see, this is what happens when people start accusing. And everybody's jumping to, well, he knew this and he knew that. Needless to say, Pastor Brian at the beginning of this year had a meeting, and they have a meeting at the first of the year where they talk the state of the church. And uh, he said, "Look, this case is going to take all my time in 2022." And so he had to step down from being the senior pastor at Hillsong. Now remember, they have churches in 19 countries. They had one time 200 over 270 services every single Sunday, and he's the global senior pastor. Okay, and he has to defend himself in a court case. That's ridiculous. I mean, I'm sorry, I think it's just absolutely ridiculous. But he's going to do the right thing. So he stepped down, and his wife, Bobby, who is a wonderful, wonderful woman, stepped up to be the global senior pastor. And they also had, or at least he was speaking that day that I saw the thing. They were passing off to a group of people from South Africa called the Doolies. And both of the Doolies were going to become global senior pastors and take over the church in his absence. And I don't think he was stepping down completely. He was just stepping away for a while. Well, as I understand it, um, they were at a conference, and this was just a couple of weeks ago, and he had done some um, anxiety medication. I don't know if it was Xanax or Valium or anything like that. And for some reason, he drank alcohol. Don't know what kind. Could have been beer. Could have been a glass of wine. Could have been a shot of whiskey. I'm a big believer. Now, I think a lot of you guys know that I drink. Um, not not to be stupid drunk and drive drunk or anything like that, but I have Jack on the rocks. Jack Daniels on the rocks is like my go-to drink, and then I will have a glass of wine. If it's hot, I'll have a beer. I like dark beers, not the light stuff, but I like like ambers, and those are my favorite. So if I'm at church, bring me up a shot. No, I'm just kidding about that. But I believe for a long time that Jesus' first miracle was making wine out of water. And if he had been in Nashville, he probably would have made moonshine out of water. I know that there's a lot of churches that would have sworn it was corn juice and it wasn't really moonshine, but it would have been moonshine. It would have been really good moonshine too. And I do like fresh whiskey. I like light, clear whiskey and dark beer. Kind of fun. Most people drink really light, clear beer and dark whiskey, if they even drink whiskey at all. Um, yeah, and most people like bourbons. I'm not a bourbon fan. I am a whiskey fan. There's a difference, and if you don't know it, we need to hang out. Uh, but needless to say, so I think that for some reason he had whiskey, or he had something, and he didn't. I'm not. Do not quote me that he had whiskey. I'm sorry. In fact, I'll probably edit that out. Um, it seems that he had alcohol on a anxiety medication, and somebody found him, according to what I've heard. Somebody found him walking through the hall and said, "Here, come on into my room," and was making phone calls. Now he doesn't remember. He says, "Look, I kind of don't remember any of this. So, and I can understand. I know so many people who've taken Xanax on planes and stuff like that and don't remember. I mean, they do crazy things, and add on top of it alcohol. For a man that I've known them off and on. I don't hang out with them. They don't invite me over to the house, and when they're in our Los Angeles or on tour, we don't hang out. But I've never seen him drink, so he's not like me. And let me give you an example what I mean by that. A few months ago, on January 6th, and this is not April 1st, you guys, and this is not an April Fool's joke. This is really true. Um, on January 6th of 2022, I had a stroke. It was a rather large stroke in my um, Medina ganglia, or well, originally they said it was in my temporal lobe, and so it was affecting my speech. And they said I would be in there for 2 to 4 months. It might be a couple years before I was normal again. I told him, I said, "Look, guys, you don't understand this. I heal like Wolverine, and I understand a lot about the brain. I've studied it for a while, trying to." And so I said, I will try to increase my or change my neurotransmitters. Now it happened in an area that there's any memory in there, that's gone, and that part of the brain will never be used again. It's gone for good, and they said it was about the size of a dime, and this which is a really, really, really large stroke. And to tell you the truth, since then I haven't felt like me. In fact, that morning, that's what I woke up and I started saying something. I'm like, wow, it's not really good. And so I knew something was wrong. I was afraid it was a stroke. The first thing I did, I didn't have any aspirin, but I had some BC powder. So I took a half a packet of BC powder. It had ice and it was stormy outside, snowy. It was a horrible day. Um, I called the telemed people. They said to call 911 immediately. Well, I was in a hotel about 2 miles from a hospital. So I'm just going to drive to the hospital. So I drove to the hospital. Maybe comparatively the stupidest thing and the best thing I've ever done, because I went in there. They took one look at me. They're like, "You're admitted." I had one side of my face was drooping. I was slurred speech. I thought it was hoped it was Bell palsy, that one side of my face was just drooping. Yeah, it wasn't Bell palsy. I had a stroke, a bad one, and so I just haven't felt like me. I felt really weird. I felt really strange. It was like, I whose body am I in? I mean, it looks like me, but it doesn't sound like me. And it sure doesn't feel like me. Well, we're in the middle of Tin Pan South is going on, and I have a lot of friends playing because of some other things going on in music and in acting combined. I decided to go to Tin Pan South, and so I went. And Wednesday night, it was so wonderful. We had or three players over at Third and Lindsley, and there was backed by the Nashville Symphony. So we had a piano player, a stand-up bass player. We had uh, a cello, two violas, and a harp, backing three guitar players. It was pretty good. And these guys have toured, and they're all kind of, I don't know their names offhand. They were really, really good, playing everything from, they had pitched to Aerosmith and Journey, and one guy played this song by it's called "I Am Champion" by uh, oh, I guess Carrie Underwood and Ludacris put out the song, but he wrote it and he knew the words, and that was pretty amazing. Backed by a symphony, it was. I can't tell you how happy that made me. And I also had four Jack on the rocks. So I had four shots of Jack on the rocks. So it's a little more than I usually do. In fact, I'd only one time had two shots of Jack's one evening since the stroke. Well, I woke up yesterday morning and I'm laying in bed. I'm like, oh my gosh, I feel like me again. I feel like me. Okay. And I started talking to myself. Yeah, my voice sounds great. I've got, everything. It was just everything looks right. I feel like it's me again. I'm back. And I got out of bed and I'm like, whoa, I'm hungover. I am so hungover. And I'm like laughed because it's like, wait, this is how I've woken up most of my life. And during my touring days, my roadie days when I wasn't a good boy, and sometimes when I was a good boy, I have nothing wrong with drinking. And so you just don't drink to be stupid, but yeah, having a beer or two doesn't, or a couple shots. I'm not against that in any way. Um, just and I've been really blessed not to do stupid things. Usually. Anyway, needless to say, um, that's what made me feel normal again was actually drinking. I don't think Pastor Brian feels normal when he drinks. I don't see him as being a drinker. I mean, I see him as being having so much on the plate and to be so upstanding and to have so much to show. But if he's taking anxiety medications, if he's not thinking right, if he's tired, if he, for some reason, that a beer could do it to a non drinker, especially a 60 something year old on anxiety medicine. Anything can make him just like stumble. So he was found walking in a hallway. A woman said, "Hey, come on into my room," and she sat there trying to call somebody. She called the front desk a couple times, tried to get a hold of his wife, tried to get hold of leaders in the church, called around, but he had been in there for almost, it was over 30 minutes. It was almost 40 minutes, until they finally got him. Now he doesn't remember anything. She swears nothing happened. There was no sexual impropriety. There was no talk of sexual impropriety. Nothing like that even happened. But because of the church, and there's a great book about Billy Graham, and Billy had a number of principles. One of them was never being in a room by himself with a woman or many women, with the door shut. I mean, that was number one rule. I mean, he never one time was going to do that. And I'm sure Pastor Brian has some sort of rule like that also. I had that rule for a long time. Uh, but the fact of the matter is, it's the church asked him to resign. They said, "Look, that's an act of impropriety," and so he did. And so he stepped down from being pastor completely. And they're, at this point, I don't know if he's coming back or not. Probably not. But that's what the world has got. Oh, he had some dealings with a woman, and oh, he did this and that, and he was on drugs, and he was drinking, and it's like, okay, guys, okay, what? I don't know the situation, not at all, but I have been around the man. I've been following his teachings for a dozen years, and I find it very, very, very hard to believe that anything like that happened. I think it's just an older guy who, for the first time ever, because of a situation that he's involved with, I mean, he stepped down from his church. He has to he has to defend himself against charges from something that his dad did 50 years earlier in another country. Okay. And so he has to defend himself. He stepped down from his church. He takes an anxiety medication. Totally understand that. Drinks. I totally don't understand that. But me drinking on an anxiety medication wouldn't be, nothing to look the press for. Him doing it, though, I don't think his body's built up the muscle to handle it. And so then one thing led to another. He was found in a hall. Somebody tried to help him, and so now he's in trouble for it. Um, and that happens. I mean, because this is bottom line too. Satan wants to take out anything that's working in his church works. So to let you know, I am still staying part of Hillsong. I am still going. In fact, I'm going to do a couple Hillsong songs tonight, and I hope you enjoy them. Let's see. Let's do. So that's the whole thing. It's just like that's why I said Mark 15:3. I said 2 and 3, but and Jesus and Brian is not um, the King of the Jews. Brian is a good man, though, and he has a great wife and an incredible family, beautiful daughter, two great sons and grandchildren, and God has blessed him completely. And those who God blesses, um, Satan tries to steal, and so I think a lot of us need to stand up with him in prayer. And so I'm going to play a little music. This is the first song. This is a song that Darlene checked toward the United States with. Oh my gosh, it's 20 minutes. I thought this would be like a 14-minute video. Anyway, this is called "Shout to the Lord." Why they call it live streaming, folks? Yes, that is why they call it live streaming. Um, that was a song by Darling Check called "Shout to the Lord." Like I said, it was the 1990s when I first met Brian and Bobby. When I met Darlene Check, and they were touring with that song. Now there's Brooke Ledgerwood. She's been touring with Hillsong Worship, and here's another song. That wasn't close. What a wonderful name it is, the name of Jesus Christ, our Lord. So, Heavenly Father, we've gone a little long today. We still have put titles on the back of this. Thank you for sticking by and staying. I love you guys. I love the patrons. I love the people who listen to this. I love you, even though it might be 10 years after I've done this show and uploaded. And here's the reason why I wanted to do a green show about pastor. Um, Pray for your pastors. Pray for your leaders. Satan's going to attack him. He's going to come against him. He hates the people that are winning people to Jesus, that are telling people the truth. He hates the truth. And here's the deal. And you're watching me. I'm a Christian musician, okay? And I'm sitting here talking about drinking Jack Daniels. I'm talking about waking up hungover and feeling normal. I'm talking about Jesus turning water into wine. I'm talking into the fact that I'm praying for the man who is being persecuted, who has built a large church, whose dad was found guilty of an impropriety and confessed it, and lost everything he had because of it. And once again, because I'm strong believer in John 3:17. I know you thought I was going to say 3:16. No, John 3:17. Jesus came not to condemn or judge the world, but to redeem it, to bring it back to his Father in heaven. So, Lord, I just ask right now, and whoever's listening to this, that they come to find out who you are, that they come to know you, that they learn about your grace. Well, everybody's going to talk about your vengeance and your "this is mine," saith the Lord, and all my vengeance is mine, and your wrath and your anger and your you know. But I want them to know your nurturing. I want them to know your grace. I want them to know your forgiveness and that they are loved, so loved by you. They're not alone in this world. There's a group of people who want to be with them and hold them and hug them and break bread with them and know what's going on in their life and share their life with them. And Lord, that those people are called the church. And it's once again a bunch of people who are perfect. The church shouldn't be a mausoleum of the saints. The church should be a hospital for the sick and the sinners. And so, Lord, I hope that these people, and they realize I need to get right. They need to go to a church that's full of people that need to get right, and be gracious enough that if anything happens, if accusations start flying, they come to you in prayer, Lord, and that they pray for the leaders. They pray for forgiveness and they pray for grace, and that they accept it coming into their lives, and that it flows through them into other people's lives. And so we ask this in your precious name, Jesus. Amen. Okay, I think credits roll now. I don't think I have anything left to say, which is means that I'm still not feeling normal again. I'm just kidding. I feel great. Anyway, I love you guys, and we will see you next week on the Underground Gospel Show. Okay, go with Jesus and have a blessed one.